Good afternoon. Welcome to the Early Edge in 5, powered by SportsLine. I'm Grace Remington. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Before we begin, you already know what to do. Please like this video. I'm seeing 29 likes on the YouTube stream right now. Let's get to 100 by the end of the stream, okay? And then go ahead and jump in the chat. It's a sub-only chat. That's your ticket into the party. You got to subscribe to the SportsLine YouTube channel. I want to give a shout out to Silent Reigns, who says, first time joining the live, love listening to the podcast. Thank you, Silent. We want as many people here as possible. It's always fun on the live stream. Let's take a look at how we did on yesterday's show. We went 4, 5, and 1, seeing a lot of variance in these high-scoring games with the heat that's just sweeping across the country. So some of it's been a little tricky, but EC and Mikey B with the sweeps last night. Now, remember, you can always get more picks from our Early Edge cappers if you watch CBS Sports HQ throughout the day. I've been anchoring the 1 o'clock all week long. Proppy was on with me today. He picked 5 games. I gave 3 of my picks. So just keep that on a loop, and you'll get a lot of picks from us today. Larry working overtime. He's at 6 o'clock Eastern. Then we got AB Sia and Danny Brasco at 8 o'clock. You can watch at cbssports.com/live, the CBS Sports app, or Paramount Plus. All right, guys, let's end the week on a winning note here and bring in the crew. We got a small house today, but it is a smart one, a ready one. Nonetheless, I got Specty and the Maestro. Guys, some big headlines in the baseball world today. First of all, Aaron Judge returning to the Yankees lineup for the first time since June 3rd. He has been sorely missed. Proppy pointed out on HQ today that the Yankees hitting has been historically bad, worse than the Oakland A's have been this year. I mean, we all knew the Yankees have been bad. I didn't know it was that bad. And then the other headline is Lucas Giolito making his debut for the LA Angels after being traded over from the White Sox. He'll be in Toronto, and he actually just had a good outing against the Blue Jays on July 4th. So, Maestro, I want to open it up to you before we get into our picks. Your thoughts on some of these big moves today?
Yeah, I was just talking about this on CBS Sports HQ, which is why I'm all dressed up. And, Judge, I feel they're rushing him back a little bit because they're desperate. They want to get back in the wild card spot. No rehab games whatsoever, a couple of simulated games. They're going to throw him right back in because, like you said, second worst offense in all of baseball. When he was out, they went 19-23 with him in the lineup. They were 10 games over 500. He just makes a massive difference because of how bad the rest of the lineup has been. So I'm just not ready to say that everything is normal right now when he's got to put a lot of weight on that big toe, that sprained right big toe. We'll see how it goes tonight against a very talented Orioles pitcher, Grayson Rodriguez.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. I'm not sure about people playing the morale card here. I'm not sure it works that way, but that division, the toughest in Major League Baseball, every single team with a winning record. But we got a full slate of games to get to, guys. So, Specty, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, well, first, I'm a little upset that neither of you told us we weren't doing Casual Friday. I mean, you guys look fantastic, and I'm over here. I should have dressed up a little more. You guys are making the competition tough. But it's been a rough week for me, so we're going to keep this real simple. JD Martinez, over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at -140. He's been on a tear recently. He's gone over this number in 8 of his last 10 games. He's been averaging 3.2 hits, runs, and RBIs for a game. We're predicting 2.1 hits, runs, and RBIs, and 2.1 is greater than 1.5. So that's all I'm going to leave it at today. And let's hope we cash this ticket.
Specty, you know what? You are looking great. Don't you worry about it. And you beat us in the hair competition every day anyways. So, all right, guys, we are at 86 likes. Let's get to 100. Okay, I mentioned the Heat sweeping the country. That's what I'm using on my pick today. I'm going to Kansas City, taking the Twins' first 5 team total over 2.5 runs at -125. It is the best hitting weather of the day with temperatures nearing 100 degrees. So we can expect the ball to carry. And the market for the full game is actually reflecting that. The full game total opened at 8, 9, depending on which book you use. It has since moved to 10. That's a pretty drastic difference. So looking for another angle here, I'm taking the first 5, and I'm targeting the road team, so we get the full complement of outs there. Okay, where to play in this Heat, guys? And these guys have never had to do it with a pitch clock. So it's going to be uncomfortable. They're going to be going back to that rosin bag every 2 pitches. That leads to fewer strikeouts, longer at-bats, longer innings. You see where I'm going here? More runs, hopefully. Brady Singer, I'm also kind of fading him. He's a 2-pitch guy, sinker slider. The velo is dropping on both. He's lost an entire mile an hour on the slider, almost a mile an hour on his sinker. He's a below league average pitcher in expected weighted on base average for both of those. Minnesota was already a top 10 team against righties. So he's going to struggle in this matchup just against the Twins and the weather. High variance pitcher, just going to be a tough day for him. So that's why I like the Twins first 5 team total here. Now, Larry, I know you're also in this game, so hopefully I didn't steal part of your analysis there. You're on the same side with a hitting prop. Where are you going?
Yeah, not at all, Grayson. It looks like we're all in on the Twins from the morning show and yourself. And I'm on Eddie Julien, the rookie second baseman, batting second in the lineup, over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, coming back at -155. The Twins just announced that Polanco, when he comes back, sorry, you're going to have to play third base. This kid is playing that well. Some of his numbers this month: 393 batting average, 804 slugging. That's crazy. He is just going so well. And like you mentioned, Brady Singer, he's been terrible, but he's been even worse against left-handed hitters, which Julien is. So I love this play. This is about as expensive as I would play a prop like this, but I also think the Twins are going to do a lot of damage to Brady Singer. And then late game, let's take an underdog. Let's take those Arizona Diamondbacks. We know we're going to have to build a lead because we know how bad their bullpen is. But against the Mariners, who have Logan Gilbert on the mound, and since the All-Star break, this guy has no command whatsoever. 35 batted balls, 21 of them have been hard hit, whereas Tommy Henry for the D-backs, excellent at home, 3.00 ERA. The Mariners have never seen him. The Mariners are also bottom 8 in OPS against left-handed pitching. So it just sets up the Diamondbacks. I know they've been terrible. I know they're 3-9 since the break. This is a good spot behind Tommy Henry, who's very difficult to deal with, especially if you haven't seen him.
Okay, love it, Larry. I'm seeing some people in the chat saying Phillies team total over 4.5. I gave that play out on HQ earlier today, so I hope that means you guys were watching. Either way, just keep it on a loop in your living rooms all day long. Guys, is EC actually at the racetrack? Am I finding this out from the chat?
Yeah, he's actually at the racetrack.
Okay, well, T's and P's to him.
I mean, bets horses. He'll do it all day long. And if he does his new way of parlaying horses, where he's just gonna keep going until he loses, I told him it's not the smart thing to do. But CC, he's gonna go.
Like I said, T's and P's to EC. Let's hope he keeps on to some of that parlay money. And let's get to the recap screen now,
Grace,
guys.
If I could just
Go ahead, Larry.
jump in for a second about that Phillies team total. Absolutely love that as the road team against Mitch Keller, who, you know, the season-long numbers look good, but in July, the ERA over 7. And since the All-Star break, and he was in the All-Star game, he's gotten lit up twice. And the Phillies come in with a lot of motivation, a lot of momentum from those back-to-back comeback wins. So they're going to strike out a lot, but I think they're also going to hit some doubles, hit some homers. So I love that play in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you mentioned his decline. He's lost a mile an hour on his fastball since the temperatures have gotten warmer. PNC Park today, too. Temps in the 90s with high humidity. It's going to turn into a top 4 ballpark. So, yeah, love that we're on the same side there as well. Maestro. Specty, what were you going to say?
Oh, it was 4.5, right? With that team total?
Yep.
Yeah, Our model has them at 5 runs. So you're good on every basis right there.
Let's go. All right. So we got the sweep on the Phillies today. Okay, lots of bonus plays in this episode. Let's get to the official play recap screen now. Specty's on JD Martinez. You can find that in the Reds-Dodgers game. Over 1.5 hits, runs, RBI at -140. I'm on the Twins' first 5 team total over 2.5 against the Royals at -125. Staying in that game, Larry's on Edward Julien over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs at -155. And then he's got the D-backs on the money line hosting the Mariners at +110. All right, guys, that does it for this episode of The Early Edge in 5. We'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. This crew will be back on Monday, taking the weekend off. Remember to catch the rest of our gang on CBS Sports HQ at 6 and 8 Eastern. For Specty, I'm sorry, sir, and the Maestro, I'm Grace Remington. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the pay window.